Sape from Airtel is back, and everyone, we mean everyone, gets a bonus. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for watching UBC Television. This is the news tonight, brought to you by me, WADULO Mark Arnold, and on sign language we will be joined by Elizabeth Nakakoni. Let's take a look at tonight's top stories before we start the bulletin. Bulemezi edges Busiro to 2019 Masaza Trophy. Chibuku residents welcome water project. The Petroleum Authority of Uganda concludes the oil pipeline hearing. And Ugandan delegation in Somalia starts to work. It's always a pleasure having you watching UBC Television. Now, in our top story, President Yoweri Museveni has pledged to continue to support the youth that are engaged in a diversity of development projects across the country. The president was addressing ghetto youth groups who are under the umbrella organization known as NRM Youth Camp at their Chibuye headquarters in Kampala district. He hailed the Katwe-based youth in Kampala district for innovation and skills development and highly commended them for propelling the idea that had enabled them to make a vehicle. He therefore assured them that government will support them in promoting further innovations and many other novel ideas that are geared to exploit their fullest extent of their abilities in their struggle for national development. The president revealed that he started to identify and associate with ghetto community way back in 1968 as a student leader, adding that it is not a new thing for him to be with the ghetto Wanaichi. Mr. Museveni strongly advised the youth to form groups that share same interests as circles and have along all of them dance so that their groups can be easily empowered to access government opportunities. In other news, the Parliamentary Committee on Defense and Internal Affairs, together with the State Minister for Defense, Colonel Charles Ngola Okello, have paid a courtesy call to the Africa Union Mission headquarters in Mogadishu, Somalia. The committee members held a high-level meeting with the senior AMISOM officers on the current situation in Somalia, as this report shows us.
The meeting aimed at providing an effective framework for the achievements of the forces. Also discussed the modalities for the joint implementation of the UPDF AMISOM concept of operation in Somalia. The meeting held at African Union Mission headquarters in Mogadishu under Sector 1 Command was attended by the State Minister for Defense, Colonel Ngola Okello Charles, and the Deputy Special Representative for Somalia, Simon Molongo. The State Minister for Defense, Colonel Ngola Okello Charles, in his remarks, thanked the African Union Mission for implementation and laying strategies for better Somaliland. The UPDF Member of Parliament, Felix Kraiji, highlights the strides taken by Uganda contingent to Somalia over the past 12 years.
12 years ago, we were in a small place at the airport. Now the entire city is free. 2, businesses are thriving. This hotel was never there. That somebody can have the confidence to establish a business like this, it means you trust the security, is assured of the stability.
The parliamentary committee explains their impression of their stay in Mogadishu so far.
Apart from the monies that are always maybe paid to these people by other stakeholders, I'm saying the international bodies like the UN, European Union, UK government, they have quite a number of donors here, but sometimes it's delayed. So we're saying as a government, there's a token that we should prepare for these soldiers, because they're trying to put our name as a country high, because when we came here, they are really doing something. It's more than just doing work. It's just service. It's like what doctors do in hospitals.
The AMISOM plan over the next 2 years is to see a greater transfer of security responsibilities from AMISOM to Somali National Forces. Mutesa Sila Haruna reporting for UBC News in Mogadishu, Somalia.
Well, moving on, access to water is one of the concerns that Uganda still grapples with, although the situation has changed in Kasasira sub-county in the district of Chibuku district. The environmental health officer at the Ministry of Water and Environment, Dr. Lawrence Tubenawe, says that the Japanese water-funded initiative has saved locals from salty water.
Water is a basic resource that no human being can afford to live without. One formidable example of such notion is clear at Kasasira Town Council in Uganda's eastern district of Kibuku. Before 2017, there was no option of taking any other water other than that which was salty. It took drilling of additional boreholes to relieve residents of not just salt water, but also long queues.
And the issue with salt water is that sometimes it becomes expensive. If you are washing, you have to use a lot of soap, and water is too hard. You cook and the food changes. So some boreholes had been abandoned.
We found Naikesa Christine pumping water at one of them. Whereas she feels appreciative, she shares a similar worry with a fellow resident, Florence Naizuli, over delayed extension of water taps to the area.
We know to work at up with Sengano, my Zigazire, at up at Yeriro. Eulao, Atenga Vakoba, Timbu, and I quant a Valikakuji, Galaku. And he sang them say a genuine tabat to tola in a mazi.
Nendi Kurilaku, a sawen. Imbu, Vanu, abaizira okutukola okula n'okutwala nayi konta eswedi. Mbobali kuiza kututwala ko maizi. Ati anise tuba tuwaireke na matapu tasigala tutya.
Such fears are however allayed by the town clerk, Kasasira Town Council, Kikondo James. He says improved water access has reduced domestic violence.
Women used to take long time, spending long time in the queues, and the time and then having little time to attend to other domestic activities. In the end, it would result in a fight.
Such are some of the interventions Uganda has undertaken across the country to address the challenge of water shortage. It was reported, according to 2009 statistics, that 51% of Ugandans lacked access to safe water. Similarly, it also stated that 82% do not have access to improved sanitation facilities. These are the statistics that government, in partnership with Japanese International Cooperation Agency, JICA, is seeking to reduce.
The government was already doing something, but when JICA came in, they gave us that push, because we are still at 70%, and our wish is to reach 100%.
It's a kind of granted program to support the water facility to the communities in the Choga Basin area,
amounting to approximately $15.3 million. The project aims at increasing coverage of safe water supply in 9 rural growth centers. These include Nambali, Chanvuma, Kasasira, Kameki and Kidetok, covering districts of Iganga, Luka, Palisa and Serere in eastern Uganda. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Well, big initiative right there. Thank you, Henry. Now, the King of Allure, Philip Olakara Wuni, has urged his subjects to respect women by avoiding violence and harassment towards them. Now, the King made these remarks during the celebrations of his 9th coronation anniversary in Zombo district. The first Prime Minister, Moses Ali, was his chief of guest. We take a look.
This is Aluru cultural dance known as Agwara. And it's what welcomed the king among his subjects for the 9th coronation anniversary. The 9th coronation anniversary was celebrated at Atiak Primary School grounds in Zombo district. Excitement among the subjects is what characterized the event. The event attracted kings and chiefs from northern Uganda and the neighboring Democratic Republic of Congo. During the event, the king cautioned men to stop harassment and violence against women. The king noted that such cases are even common among the elite subjects.
This should stop immediately. The people of Alur will not entertain or tolerate those who look to undermine the powerful women supporting this kingdom.
He also encouraged his subjects to take advantage of government projects to eradicate poverty.
I call upon the Alur people to support all government efforts and programs, especially in regard to agriculture, especially supporting our young people undertake agriculture as a way to stop youth idleness.
The first Prime Minister, General Moses Ali, represented President Museveni. He tasked the Aluru King and chiefdoms in northern Uganda to work towards the socio-economic developments of their people.
Restoration of cultural institutions in Uganda, Usonga, Toro, Bunyoro, Teso, Acholi, Aluru, etc. is our national liberation milestone, which should be safeguarded for the meaningful development of our country.
The Minister for Northern Uganda, Grace Freedom Kuchwini, who was the organizing chairperson of the event, pledged to work with government to deliver presidential pledges on houses for Aluru chiefs.
In the office of Northern Uganda, there is a program to build houses for chiefs and for some disadvantaged persons identified by him. And so my message to you, your chief, the chief guest, is to ask the president to direct me, because this is the planning season, the budgeting season. If he directs me, I'll be happy to provide the 32 houses for these chiefs. That is what is remaining. I have already written to him. I'm waiting for a directive, and if you can do that, it will take off. And I want to thank you, because we have delivered, your office has delivered a residential house for our king.
The 9th coronation anniversary for Aluru King was also an opportunity for the kingdoms and chiefdoms within West Nile and northern Uganda to unite. However, the welfare of the subjects and deteriorating culture is not only a challenge for Aluru King, but is a challenge kingdoms across the country have to tackle. For UBC TV News, I am Philip Aguta in Zombo.
Thank you, Philip. Now, Agururu B3 local leaders in Toro municipality have expressed disappointment over delayed functionality of a technical school constructed by the municipal authority 15 years ago. They are saying that the facility is now acting as a night hideout for thugs that terrorize residents. The structure was constructed in 2005 using local government development funds at a cost of 30 million to equip locals with technical skills.
It is now 15 years since this technical school in Agururu B3 division, Toro municipality, was constructed by the municipality at 30 million shillings, and it is yet to be commissioned. The two-roomed structure from where the youth were meant to gain technical skills has since been turned into a launch pad for robbers terrorizing Toro residents and pedestrians. The area local council chairperson Godfrey Hasasha says the place is a no-go zone for residents.
When they are from corner to do their businesses, they take advantage of this shelter to harbor there. When they see these business people going back to their homes, they come and get them, they confiscate their properties from this area.
Betty Akoth, an area resident and neighbor to the technical school, says she has been a victim of the thugs' terror machinery.
I was not at home. My mother got an accident. I had gone to keep my mother in the hospital. I came back. I got when they had taken everything from the house, the mattress, my clothes, my bed sheets, everything was taken.
It is against this background that the municipal authorities have come up to open the facility for functionality.
This building, as you see, it has stayed for over 10 years. The government put their money. There are 2 classrooms, there's land, there's toilet, and so on and so on. But due to, I could call them not serious leaders, they neglected this area, they neglected the project. So the thing was now left for rats. It was purely left for rats.
And when we talk about unemployment, youth unemployment, once we skill our people through such a technical school, because it is not going to be just a simple welding as such, it is going to embrace signage, and I'm also happy that we are getting these powered sewing machines.
The structure expected to house tailoring trainings, saloon works, welding and metal fabrications is to be opened by the State Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs, Bright Ramirama, at the end of this month.
Mommy, you can't touch me, you can't touch me. Daddy, what's wrong?
I've had a long day, Angel. And I have a bad headache.
Oh, I'll give you something that will make you feel better if you promise to play with us.
Headache? Toothache. Unapoumwa, unataka kitulizo kwa haraka gani? Mara moja. Pain and Fever Reliever. A quality product from Beta Healthcare. Contains paracetamol, caffeine and aspirin. Beta Healthcare. Caring for all. If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Inspirational moment with Pastor Jackson Senyonga of Christian Life Church, Kampala.
Chapter number 22, verse number 21. Submit to God and be at peace with Him. In this way, prosperity will come to you. Submit to God and be at peace with Him. In this way, prosperity will come to you. In Jesus' name. You have had testimonies, God prospering His people. My prayer, you will be the next in line in Jesus' name. Can somebody say, I receive it in Jesus' name?
Inspirational moment with Pastor Jackson Senyonga of Christian Life Church, Kampala.
Does heartburn stop you from eating the things you love? Eating too fast, alcohol or spicy food can trigger acidity, heartburn, indigestion or flatulence. Your best bet is Better Cool. Better Cool works fast to relieve acidity, heartburn and indigestion. Trust Better Cool. Enjoy life.
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Welcome back. You're still watching the news tonight here on UBC television. Now, More news. The workers' representative in Parliament, Margaret Rabushaija Namubiru, wants professional women empowerment and their participation in leadership positions without being intimidated. Rabushaija was officiating at the second Uganda National Teachers Union Regional Women's Roundtable Conference organized by the Uganda National Teachers Union from Chigezi and Ankole sub-regions at Mbarara Catholic Social Center in Booms, Kamukazi Division, Mbara Municipality, Mbara District.
So what are they doing? You cannot teach theory, but you can tell them that you can earn money if you made chapati at break time and you added say avocado on it, so that those who don't want to go for lunch of the school portion, they can buy a chapati at 500 and they live on that, because that's also something extra. So we are not looking at ourselves, we are looking at our children in the schools. And I want to add particularly the girl child, because if I'm a female and I've learned something which I know can make other women survive, then I must also sell it to the children, but also selling them the other ideas. But they can also be in the school and they vie to be prefects, and they are girls, but I can also help them to write maybe what they are going to say, to help them to look at the English, is it the right English, and I also empower them.
We are here conducting women's round table for the whole region, where we have female educators in the whole region. The importance of women round table, it's an event that brings together all female educators in the whole region, in as far as NAT is concerned, so that they can look into the challenges they face at their workstations and even in the communities where they live.
And secondly, I want to tell women not to shy away, not to pull down their fellow women. Let us also contest with men, because we can also take up big positions as our ladies we see. And anyway, we have an example of Honorable Rabushaija. She started small, but now she's a member of Parliament.
In more news, Kabale University has graduated over 907 students, with males taking the high population of this time at their fourth graduation, becoming a public university. Kabale University Chancellor Professor Mondo Kagonyera asks parents and the alumni to continue supporting the university for a prosperous future. He also pledged government's commitment towards upgrading the university in this report.
Hundreds of graduates and their parents braved the frosty Kabale weather and turned up for their academic award at the ceremony held at Chikunjiri Hill, Kabale University.
I congratulate those people.
In all, 907 students were awarded diplomas and degrees of Kabale University at a ceremony officiated by the Commissioner of Higher Education, Jole Zankunda, who pledged government's commitment toward the support for the expansion of the university. The University Chancellor, Professor Mondo Kagonyera, asked parents and the alumni to continue supporting the university.
In the British system, the old one which Joy and I are familiar with, to get a first class degree, they would even look at your character. What does that mean? Okay, you're a very clever woman or clever man, but are you intelligent? Are you a man or woman of good character? To what use are you going to put that first class degree?
He asked graduates to lead exemplary lives and be good ambassadors as they join the working class.
Kabale, one of the reasons why we bring out people like this is for you to learn and to know that there is more to life than the amount of money on your bank account in the bank, even when you have stolen that money.
The Vice Chancellor, Professor Joy Kwesiga, says the university has made tremendous achievements, especially the science infrastructure building, thereby calling government for more support.
Ashabahe Catherine, who is a graduate of Bachelor of Science Education, as the best female student, and to see me with Filbert, Bachelor of Arts in Education.
The first 27 loan scheme students also achieved their degree certificates. Joseph Bule, UBC, Kabale.
Local leaders in Busoga sub-region have underscored the need to reintroduce school gardens to enable easy food access by pupils during school times. Now this comes at the wake of education standards in the region being low, requiring serious interventions. The Mayor of Iganga Municipal Council, David Balawa, echoed this during the distribution of scholastic materials to PLE candidates from 20 schools, which is a gesture by Busoga Education Initiative.
These are primary 3 pupils from Iganga Municipal Primary School. They are organized in groups to practice reading, one of the basic avenues of learning. This, by all standards, is a common practice in all primary schools. What is unique here is that learning is taking place in an open environment, a challenge said to be common in most UPE schools.
Even the chalk is not enough. The teachers need to be motivated, they need to be given food and so on. So you really find that managing an institution without enough finances, you cannot do what you would have wished to do.
Such is partly attributed to inappropriate funding that is not only peculiar to Iganga Municipal Primary School, but other UPE schools as well.
Much as the funds are insufficient, but government has a commitment towards educating its citizens.
This could be one of the reasons why local leaders in the region want reintroduction of school gardens to improve both education and the area's economic growth.
Iganga Municipal Council has over 30 acres of land, which I have secured. When I came to office, they were going to be sold. I have secured those ones and we have land titles. Babreka, you come. We give you 6 acres, you plant maize, and these children will take porridge.
Such concerns could be responsible for the continuous poor performance of schools in Busoga, which drew the attention of Busoga Education Initiative.
We have noted that in most schools, because there is poor feeding, the children don't perform well. But we said, okay, this time around, let's mobilize money from amongst ourselves through subscription, through membership, so that we can be able to provide meals for our candidates during the 2 days they will be sitting.
To achieve this, however, requires serious mobilization of resources, which the initiative also considered at its formation.
We've created a platform for all the Busoga Education Initiative, where we've attracted many Busoga loving Ugandans who have joined that platform, and each of them is contributing 50,000, 100,000 and whatever fee to try and create a base for this foundation.
At Iganga Municipal Primary School, the leadership of Busoga Education Initiative was here to distribute scholastic materials to PLE candidates from 22 schools. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Thank you, Henry. Now in other news, the residents in Chitagata in the Western District of Shema have demonstrated against the mismanagement by the Chitagata Divisions Authority, which they say that the anti-corruption unit should come in and take action. Residents said that they were informed by the division local representatives that according to the division plan, Mashenga Bridge ongoing phase 1 construction has consumed more than 25 million shillings, which to them there is no value for money. Let's take a look.
Ndaba sente miliyoni 25 zibagamira ko bakozise zirakozwe mu rumo uguru bade babo kuba sente miliyoni 25 zire kumanzi kora ibintu birya acha umburungi ibintu bakozise bikabe biriyo miliyoni nabone ntari engineer kunkani ndebo mu mukozi ko muntu ni tukatsobere okugira nito twasa rutino konga ko kutugamira ko neze sente nzazizire abukuyamba abantu nebintu byabo bakwambaje.
Also allegations, because as I talk now, we don't have the money to do second phase. The Mashenga Bridge money. So I've just received phase 2. Release
Well, in other news, the increased domestic violence cases in Uganda lately have been attributed to neglect by parents to hone inherent skills among their children. This has been reiterated by the Reverend Andrew Nalumenya during the dedication prayers for the pupils at Mother Marjorie Primary School in Boyogerere.
Uganda National Examinations Board examination session continues next week with primary 7 pupils sitting their final exams. Before such a time, many parents and schools offer their children to God through prayer. At Mother Marjorie Primary School in Boyogerere, the prayers were led by Reverend Andrew Nalumenya, who implored God to guide the candidates, but importantly advised parental guidance to groom disciplined children.
The situation going on in the country, the evil going on in the country, is simply a sign of where people belong. Let nobody deceive us. The evil you see is a sign of who people are. Because these days we have so many people, okay, covering themselves, hiding within church, but in actual sense they are not for church.
The school head teacher Edward Basembeza requests invigilators not to create a tense situation during examinations, which scares the pupils, causing some to underperform.
We have dedicated them to God, in addition to what we've been doing as teachers, training them, teaching them, and we are praying for them so that they may excel. It's our prayer that they concentrate, it's our prayer that they don't panic, it's our prayer that they know that they have a lot to do that can please their teachers, that can please their parents, but that can also please themselves.
The school will seat more than 300 pupils during the examination period that starts with social studies and ends with English.
In more news, book writing is an area that very few people venture into. Though highly respected, it is less paying and therefore economically unsustainable. However, for academic progress and passion to share ideas and opinions with the public, writing can be thrilling. The Vice Chancellor of Bugema University, Professor Patrick Manu, however, believes that teachers should have an advantage over everybody else when it comes to authorship. He says that they should turn their teaching notes into books.
So once you book and it goes well, you'll be you have the push to always write. You know, if you are not writing, you don't feel comfortable. And so that is what made me to write this one, and it went well.
Authorship is one of the most delicate and tedious investments, though it has little or no economic rewards, except for service provision, academic growth, and passing over information.
So, this is my first book, and it has a long story I don't want to tell you, but I loved to do it, and this is called I Must Preach.
The chairperson, Uganda Textbooks and Non-Fiction Authors Association, UTANA, Professor Elsa Magara, says majority of the authors are only comforted by readers' appreciation on reading their books. Magara, however, says they have established an authors investment club through which writers can benefit from their efforts.
Yes. So you don't even know what is your claim. Out of 7 or 4 people, what is your take? Which part of the royal copyright do you have in that? Okay, you are an author, they quote you and so on. But what is my take or my expectation? And also after publishing,
Tom Tebejuka, an editor with Fountain Publishing House, Kampala, says due to little rewards that come out of book writing, authors have to be supported to produce quality books.
There were challenges in Uganda. You are thinkers. You are coming out with new ideas, innovations. You are coming out with solutions. But if the funding for finding these problems and for finding solutions is coming from outside, don't you think it comes with strings attached?
Tebejuka encourages those with dissertations and other academic-based research to improve their books so that they are upgraded and publishable. The Vice Chancellor of Bugema University, Professor Patrick Manu, however, says teachers should convert their notes into books. He says book writing is a passion and personal motivation.
School administration and supervision. This is when I wrote this. This is the second edition, the first edition, and then I made the second edition. Living Without It. This book, as I said, I've sold more than 20 million. Money, more than that. When you teach a course for 10 years and you don't have your own textbook for the students, from whom will the students quote?
I looked at the concept of others, what is happening on the ground as I teach my students. I came up with another one. By the way, this book, this is the book called Life or Death Your Choice. Even President Museveni has this book.
This was during Bugema University lecturers and librarians induction training workshop held at the university main campus in Luwero district.
May I take this opportunity to hand over these books for your office to the Vice Chancellor.
Report compiled by Deo Habimana for UBC.
Now in business, the Petroleum Authority of Uganda has concluded the environmental and social impact assessment public hearings on the East Africa crude oil pipeline. The third and the last of the downstream phase deliberations took place at Luanda Public Grounds, Luanda Sub-County in Rakai District.
We are working people, don't waste our time.
In the process of mapping, they labeled areas which are going to be affected. And people were urged to vacate the buildings so that they can surrender to the road reserve. But after all this arrangement and after time, there is a team which came from Kampala, and they declared the project has been postponed indefinitely, whereas people had already surrendered their buildings to the project, unclearly unpaid.
And as a woman, I'm sure the women of this area, you know, for us we are very quick at capturing things. Now I know the women are getting very ready to begin organizing themselves to see what to sell, how to handle things. They will even cook food for these people so that they can get something.
Compensation is going to the people who will be affected. Yes, they will look at the extent to which you are affected and you are compensated there.
What about the issue of now participation, local participation?
Oh, by the way, they don't need. We have put a law on local content, which is also enshrined in the laws of petroleum. But we have got this one, an act, to say why we are passing, we must consider the employment of local people in areas where they are capable of doing.
Rates and entitlements have been completed by the contractors and submitted to the CGV. And after the Chief Government Valuer has approved, we expect to do another round of disclosures where we are coming individually to say this is what has been affected and this is what has been proposed to be paid to you. It is after that we can then agree on a payment schedule after resolution of these other commercial issues with the partners.
In more business news, Kampala Capital City Authority has plans of diverting traffic from Nachivubo Place and Allen Road to create working environment for people who vend merchandise in the evening. The Acting Executive Director, KCCA Sam Serunkuma, says that the authorities are aware that the people buy goods in the evening, although they discourage street vending and hawking. Let's take a look.
By 7 p.m. every evening, including Sunday and public holidays, downtown Kampala becomes a beehive of activity. This is as vendors swarm the streets, targeting to sell their merchandise to people going home after work. Just opposite ShopRite, vendors display their merchandise for sale, ranging from clothes, shoes and plastics. Moving towards Old Taxi Park. On Benchwanka Street, business is booming on the pedestrian walkways. As dusk creeps in an evening market for vegetables and fruits is evident on verandas of arcades, mainly along Benchwanka Street, a busy city center because of the taxi and bus parks. This is believed to have started during the tenure of the former KCC Executive Director, Jennifer Musisi Makula. Kampala Capital City Authority has not been arresting vendors of recent as it works on ordinances to regulate their operations. The market ordinance is still with the Solicitor General, while the vending and hawking ordinance is with the authority.
Other laws. It has laid there for reasons which we don't know. Maybe they have many ordinances which they are processing, including the national laws. We are in contact with them. They had promised that within 2 weeks the market ordinance will be out. Regarding the vending and hawking ordinance, it is still within the authority. We have not even finalized the second reading.
City authorities admit that people buy goods in the evening and prefer goods brought nearer to them. KCCA discourages it.
Around the Natural Place and Allen Road, we are going to create a workable place where people can vend their goods, but not on the streets, but at the same time leaving space for the people who are walking, the pedestrians.
Benchwanka Street also has other goods like clothes displayed, and vendors are in business because people seem to be checking them out. The road opposite the Old Taxi Park at Mukwana Arcade is also a beehive of activities of vendors, especially vegetables and fruits. Where Benchwanka Street joins Rome Street, there is an open place nicknamed Kaja, where youth display their merchandise, especially women's wear like shoes and clothes. Loom Street is no different, although here vendors take advantage of the security lights from the closed shops to sell their goods. Some of the people who operate in these areas recommend for such markets to be gazetted places since they bring congestion during peak hour.
Wagendayo n'agenda ng'akimanyi nti mba nakyenjagala nakkirira kukuba bweriti oba kwambuka kukuba bweriti funa ekintu bwekiti naye so si buli kkubo lyonna kuba nti liriko akatale.
Kampala Capital City Authority is currently constructing markets for vendors to get appropriate space from where to operate, although these who operate in Kampala refused to work in Usafi Market, claiming they could not afford rent. I'm Navka Farida, reporting in Kampala.
On the international scene, millions of Californians face having their power cut as firefighters continue to battle a surge in wildfires in the state. Pacific Gas and Electric said it may have to turn off power in 36 countries amid forecasts of a historic wind event, which it said could damage facilities and cause new fires. The warning came as wildfires forced some 50,000 people from their homes. A state of emergency has been declared in Los Angeles and Sonoma counties. California's fire department says that the state is experiencing critical fire weather. Commenting on the latest fire, Governor Gavin Newsom said that on Friday that PG&E simply did not do their job, and he condemned them for years and years of greed and years of mismanagement in the utilities. The 2019 Mesazaga Buganda football tournament has climaxed at Mandela National Stadium, Nambole. The final game was graced by the Kabaka Ronald Muwenda Mutebi, as this details show us.
The mid-afternoon rainfall over Kampala hasn't affected proceedings at Mandela National Stadium, Nambole, where the Kabaka of Buganda, Ronald Muwenda Mutebi, graced the final of the 2019 Masazaga Buganda football tournament. In the action, Busiro and Bulemezi did battle for the top honors on a soggy ground that in fact seemed to take its toll on the players. Busiro in the white jersey enjoyed early proceedings, but 2012 winners Bulemezi proved hard to crack and indeed settled in the game that ended scoreless after normal time. This forced extra time during which Bulemezi scored the game's only goal in the 3rd minute through Emma Loki. Busiro's huffing and puffing couldn't yield an equalizer, and by the time center referee Brian Miro ended proceedings, Bulemezi faithful were in party mood. Victory gave the champions Bulemezi a 12 million shillings cash prize, while a second place for Busiro fetched 9 million. The Masazaga Buganda is an annual tournament by Buganda Kingdom for its 18 counties, but is open to any Ugandan as long as it doesn't belong to either a Uganda Premier League or Big League club by its start. John Barnes, Sentamo, reporting.
The Uganda Olympic Committee President William Bleak has reaffirmed the committee's resolve to The Uganda Olympic Committee President William Bleak has reaffirmed the committee's resolve to instill attributes that sport provides to all Ugandans. This, he says, they will achieve through various avenues, notably the Olympic Values Literacy Contest, whose 2019 version has been hosted at James Cambridge International School.
A number of Ugandans hardly take part in any sport and thus miss out on key attributes that sport inculcates among its proponents. Notable among what people that don't partake to sports miss is the relevance of fair play and things like joy of effort, which are pertinent even in real life. But to ensure Ugandans don't miss out in totality, Uganda Olympics Committee started various initiatives, notably the Olympics Value Education Program that targets schools. During these education programs, the students are randomly picked to form 5 teams as per the Olympics values, with this helping improve teamwork, which is needed much later in life.
So we are taking Olympic values to schools which may not necessarily be doing a lot of sport, and we are trying to stimulate the minds of the intellectually very competent students, but applying principles of Olympic values. We believe that every Ugandan should have an opportunity to interact with Olympic values, and when we do the debate, the quiz, the public speaking, the poetry, all these are stimulating the mind, and we're presenting Olympic values on a different platform to the youth.
This year's education program at James Cambridge International School has attracted participation from several schools whose students believe in the project.
Well, participating in sports doesn't really mean I have to be at the field, but I can have my say in form of a poem, a drama, or I can have a debate on policies such as doping, so that I encourage everyone having a fair play in the field as encouraged by the Olympic Society.
Over the 5 years of the education program, the Olympic Solidarity has rewarded the best public speaker and debater with a trip to Greece and now England to enhance their skills. John Barnes, Sentamo, reporting.
In more sports news, the Uganda Pool Cranes completed day 1 of the 2019 Africa Pool Championship with a 1,411 hosts South Africa in a nerve-wracking ladies' black bulb thriller at Panda Pool joint in Mpumalanga region. It was lady pool cranes in a game that kept many on tenterhooks. The coach's decision to name a formidable side that include Rita Nimusima, Rashida Mutasi, Lukia Naiga, and Zaimiti Nambafu paid off in the game. But the latest news from South Africa indicates that despite celebrations by Uganda after failing the favorites and thus assured of a trophy, organizers have changed format of play to include a knockout stage. But by news time, the organizers were still meeting to decide which approach to adopt following Uganda's insistence of the rules, like has been in the case in the yesterday events. But as organizers decide the fate, the tournament has witnessed the singles category in both Chinese 8-ball and black ball. In the men's category, only Joseph Kasozi was still in for Uganda, while the ladies were yet to start. Well, it's been a marvelous bulletin. However, let's take a look at tonight's top stories before we say goodnight. Bulemezi edges Busiro to 2019 Masaza Trophy. Chibuku residents welcome water project. The Petroleum Authority of Uganda concludes oil pipeline hearings. And the delegation in Uganda and Somalia starts to work. Well, it's been a marvelous bulletin with me, WADULO, Mark, ARNOLD, and Elizabeth Nakakoni on sign language. From the team and us, it's good night and see you tomorrow. Hi, dear friends, welcome to our program.